Joining me now, I'm delighted to say, is Steve Field, who is the director of the Childcare foster care charity. This charity operates entirely for the benefit of children and not for profit, I beg your pardon, unlike other fostering charities. Fostering agencies, I beg your pardon. Joining me now is Steve Field, who is, as I said before, the director of Childcare. Steve, grim figures indeed, but I don't think people understand what foster care is all about. And I think many people would rule themselves out because they're single, because of this, because of that. So just explain to us, let's go right from the very start. What is a foster parent and who and how does one become one?
So, thank you. A foster parent is someone that will open their home to a child in care and welcome them into their home as part of their family. Foster carers come from a different range of backgrounds and experiences. At foster care charity, we have single carers, we have carers that have their birth children within the home. We have carers of different ages, carers who work part-time, full-time. And that diversity is really, really important because the children we care for all come from different backgrounds and experiences. So it makes that matching between that child and that family absolutely fundamental.
Yeah. And one of the things that people often don't take into account is that foster care agencies and charities like yourself, you don't just say bye-bye to the kids and the foster parents. You're there for them all the time. You support. There are a lot of support services put in place for questions and what have you. Am I right on that?
Absolutely. So any person applying to be a foster carer with the foster care charity or indeed become a foster carer will have their dedicated, allocated social worker that will be with them from the very first step all the way through for that advice and support. We offer ongoing training and development throughout their fostering career as well to build on the skills that they already have and develop them further. We also make sure that carers have the opportunity to meet with other staff members and fellow foster carers as part of support groups, just so that they can talk about the fostering task and lend support to one another and share on their experiences. I think the other thing for us is that we offer 24/7 support as well. So there is always someone there to support a foster carer with the fostering task. And finally, it's a taboo subject, but looking after children, whether you're a parent or a foster carer, it costs money. It's expensive. So we do offer a carer fee to foster carers that will enable them to meet the day-to-day needs of children through clothing, activities, those kind of day-to-day cost of living expenses as well. So there's a whole range of support out there to help someone every step of the way as a foster carer.
Thank you. And we should say that foster parents, as well as with adoptive parents, are very, very heavily vetted. I remember even our dog had to do a safety check, even with our doggy. It was so funny. Alf, you failed. No, he didn't really. Joining us now, we've got some foster parents, Karen and Mark. You've got 4 foster children. Karen, Mark, thank you so much for joining us. As I said, you're a step away from God. In my eyes, you're a step away from God. You're part of the solution. What made you decide to become foster parents?
Hiya, Trisha. It was me. Our daughter was in year 5 at school, and I'd been toying with the idea all the way through the year 5. Anyway, she was coming out of year 5, and I just approached my husband and I said, you know what I'd like to really do? Poppy's going to be going to high school year after next. I'd like to start fostering. And he says, oh, Kaz, he says, amazing, you'd be good at that. So then we approached his daughter and says, right, Poppy, we would like to start fostering. If you want to do it, we'll do it. If you don't, we won't, because it's got to be a family thing. We've all got to be wanting to do it. And she went, oh, Mum, yeah, go for it. You'll be good at that. So, yeah, I couldn't wait to start pursuing and getting.
So, how many foster children do you have?
Well, we've got 4 now, but we did have 5 up to January. One's just moved out now. He was 21, so he was old enough then to move on. But yeah, we had 5, we've got 4 now, and we've got a daughter still at home. So yeah.
So, the very first time you fostered, I mean, it would be very much like becoming a parent all over again for the very first time, because the reality is, and I'm not talking about your particular case, but in many cases, children have gone through a lot, haven't they, before you actually meet them. Just being away from their own birth parents, whatever their experience, it's got to be a wrench. How do you cope with that?
Well, every case is different, but some of the children that are teenagers that come into our care are glad they wanted to come into care. So, we have a lot of training. We've got a lot of support from his agency. And, we just deal with it. We just get on with it. But it helps because my husband's here. And it also has helped because his daughter, when she was in year, well, she was just at high school, weren't she, when we got through the panel? We were fostering teenagers from start. So his daughter was a teenager. Wow. And she was a tomboy. So all the lads that come into our care were like, yeah, Ace, we've got Poppy. It's Ace with Poppy. So she, they fitted in great, and she helped big time, didn't she?
She did indeed. Hello, Trisha. But also the ones that do struggle when they come into care, it's all about listening, not judging, and just being there for them and giving them routine, giving them new experiences. But the key is to listen, not to judge. Just be there for them. And when they're ready to take a step, you can take a step.
I was going to say a lot of children would miss a male and female, but a male role model. And so I'm guessing for many children, a dad and even a quote unquote, a stable home is a first. How do they deal with rules? Let me ask you that, Mark.
Well, we don't have many rules, but we found that they've all abided by the rules because we make it so easy for them. We're not, giving them 20 rules to abide by. You don't swear, you don't steal. You respect us, and
go to school.
We found that by giving basic rules to follow, that they have, and then as time goes by, you can introduce more rules because they actually realise by stepping in line, it benefits them, and when you put it across, we're not against you. We're trying to give you life skills because as you grow older, you're going to need these.
Yeah,
it's how you sell it to them.
Yeah, and I was going to say, we know that children feel more secure with rules. They feel cared for. They feel that somebody cares about them. And I love it that someone can stay with you till 21, because unfortunately in the care system, they often get kicked out and left adrift. And they're not ready for that. Let me come back to you, Steve, just to finish this off. So for anybody listening who might be interested, what would be the first step?
So the first step is by contacting us and just having a conversation about fostering. I mean, Mark and Karen, as you could probably gather, they're inspirational and they've done so many amazing things for children. And we're so glad that they're part of the foster care charity. So the first step really is to get in contact with us. People can get in contact with us through our website. It's www.fostercarecharity.org.uk. On that is a plethora of information. We've got a frequently asked questions page on there, and a way just to get an inquiry form, just to have that first chat with us. We can also speak to somebody on the phone if they want, so they can get in contact with us on 0800 08 56 538. And what we're asking at the Foster Care Charity is for people to take that step, open their hearts, open their homes, and just have that first step of talking about foster care to see if it's right for them, and they could start to make a real difference to vulnerable children and help them thrive and go on to reach some amazing outcomes and achievements that we see every day with the children that we care for.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've got a friend I know who was fostered and is a very successful stylist at the moment. So, you know, and talks very frankly about how foster parents made such a massive change to him. Thank you so much for that. And thank you, Mark and Karen, talking about their experiences of being brilliant foster parents. And that was Steve Field, Director of Childcare at Foster Care Charity.